Hello again, everybody. Not for me. I'm not that important. Okay, well, as you have guessed, and as they are on the screen, we have Berrow, who... Yeah, she will be hosting her Writing for Ponies 101 panel. The first part, she will be like a normal panel, just some slides, tell you some jokes, some techniques, or whatever. I don't know, I'm very excited to hear it. And afterwards, she will be doing a little Q&A panel where you can ask your questions. And there are some minor rules for that. At first, we will form a line on the right side from here, so on your left side, we will form a line where you can just put yourself into, wait for your turn, go to the microphone, and just ask your question. So there are some rules for that. At first, it would have to be in English, but if you can't speak English, then we will translate it for you. So there's no big problem. The other hand is, please don't ask anything that is not safe for work. So no grown-up stuff or something like that. Yes. And please don't ask questions about fandom stuff, fanfics or something like that, because the writers, the person who works on the show, they're not supposed to answer something like that. And something we all want to know, but Jillian is not allowed to tell us, spoilers from the show. So you can ask, but the answer will always be the same, no, I'm not allowed to do that. Okay?
Collective sigh, I'm sorry.
I know her, she would like to answer these questions, but she's not allowed.
I would love to answer questions. But you don't want any spoilers anyway, because then it ruins the surprise.
Yeah!
So.
This is the important thing. Okay, without further ado, I'll give the microphone to you.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. Everybody. You guys feeling good? Having fun so far? Yeah. This is great. I can't believe all the decorations and everything. You guys explore. Anybody do the Iron Pony competition yet? No? No? Yeah? Cool. I still have to try. All right, so I guess I'm just going to talk a little bit about mainly the process of writing the books, because I've written now, I think, 13, and they're not all out yet, but 13 My Little Pony books, which is a lot. So I've kind of come up with a process, and I've written other books before that, so I already had kind of a way of doing things, but I've developed a good system for the My Little Pony books. And my main way of approaching it before I get into the slides is that I always try to make every single book feel like it's an episode of the show, but in prose format. So I try to think, if I was going to write an episode right now, what would I write? And then I basically try and put it on the page. So hopefully it comes across that way. And I know many of you guys are also writers, so hopefully I can give you some tips and things that work for me. And I will give you a little bit of a disclaimer that I was talking to Daniel and Toby last night, and I said, would it be weird if I punched in all the text from my presentation into Google Translate and put it into German? So I did that, but I don't know if it's accurate, and it could say something completely wrong or weird, so might be kind of funny for you. I don't know. All right, so that's my pony. There's an artist, Pixel Kitties. Have you heard of her? She made this for me. That's me writing a book as a pony. I think it's great. Yeah, and her name is, my pony's name is Plot Twist. If you read the Rainbow Dash book, she has a little part in that. I got to put my own OC in, because that's what happens when you work for My Little Pony. But, yeah, officially I'm not allowed to say that. Lucky. All right. So, am I doing this right? Technical difficulties. Right. Oh, whoa! No! This is me! Okay, these are just some facts about me. I live in New York City. I've lived there for about 10 years. I grew up in California, though, near San Francisco. So moved very far away from home, and I've been in New York ever since. So, not like Applejack. I stayed there. Oh yeah, I got into working on My Little Pony because I went to film school at New York University, Tisch School of the Arts. It's a great school for learning about film production and TV. And I went there because I wanted to learn about screenwriting. And while I was there, I specifically studied writing for children's TV. So kind of came back around, which is great. And I'm sure my parents are very excited that I'm using my degree. And I ended up working on a bunch of other TV shows there, mainly live action stuff, and working behind the scenes in production. So I kind of got my start doing that, working my way up from the bottom as an assistant, and started writing on the side to, try and get a TV writing career going, and ended up falling into the publishing book world, which was great because I love books and I've always loved to read, and I've always been very much Twilight Sparkle, nose in a book kind of girl. So so I started doing that, and then a couple of years in, my editor from one of my series called me up and said, "Do you like My Little Pony?" And I obviously said yes, because who doesn't like My Little Pony? But I actually didn't know that there was a new version of it, because I grew up with the first version of My Little Pony, and I had a ton of toys, and I was obsessed with it. So when I heard about the new version, I went and I watched everything there was at the time, and I just loved it so much. So, of course, I felt very lucky. I think I have some pictures of my toys Yep, this is all the stuff some of the stuff my mom found. That's my sleeping bag at the top. It's the blonde girl. I don't know if you guys know this, but she's actually named Megan in the show, which I find really funny because I like to tease Megan McCarthy about that all the time. Like, oh, a blonde girl that hangs out with all the ponies all the time named Megan. Coincidence? I don't know. And my lunchbox and all my ponies. I just thought that was funny. Is this translated correctly? No? Oh dear. Okay. Not too bad? Oh, okay. I don't remember where in my speech I'm supposed to say that, but there it is anyways. I think that was, whatever. Who else is an egghead here? Anyone else like to read? That's it? Come on. Sort of? What about you guys? Yeah, got a couple up here. All right. These are the published My Little Pony books. This Princess Celestia one just came out this week, so that's the newest one in the Princess collection. So we're doing all 4 of the princesses, and Princess Luna is next. Before that, I have a Discord book coming out this summer. First non-pony character. That one's pretty fun. So I think it's July that comes out. Oh, this got weird. Something weird happened with this slide, but it still looks really great because she's really excited. This is obviously what I have right here. The Daring Do Adventure Collection, which are co-written by me and A.K. Yearling. We worked together on this project. She got her name on the cover, though. No. There's actually a funny story about how that's the name on the cover. I sort of talked with my editor about it when we were thinking about doing this book set, And she was asking me if I wanted my name on it, and I said, no, absolutely not. The Bronies will hate that. It has to say AK Yearling on the front, just like in the show, so that, you're doing a cosplay, Rainbow Dash cosplay maybe, you can walk around with it. And, it's gotta be accurate. It's gotta be accurate. So I was glad that worked out and that they did this beautiful art on the cover to make it look like the show. So, anyways, this is where I was going to talk about the fact that now I work on the show, and I wrote an episode for season 5. And did anyone watch the premiere? Yeah? Did you like it? Yeah. Any predictions for what's gonna happen? No? Just wait and find out? You guys excited for the 100th episode? Yeah, they've already announced that it's gonna be all the background ponies. It's gonna be really good. He said that Applejack is a background pony. I don't understand Applejack. No. Oh, and now is the presentation. I think I just really wanted to use that GIF 55. Oh, okay. The idea. First of all, obviously, if you're going to write a story, you need an idea. So, when I'm given an assignment to write one of the books, usually I'll just be frantically finishing one of the other ones, and then my editor will say, okay, next is Pinkie Pie, or next is, Fluttershy. It's kind of difficult sometimes because I do get to read all the scripts ahead of time, so I know what's going to happen. So usually I try to think of something that, that character hasn't been explored in that season. So I try to think of an aspect of that character that I would want to see and try and fit it into the season. So it's like a little supplement. So I don't know if you guys have read the Pinkie Pie book at all. Has anyone read it? Yeah? A few people. So in that one, it wasn't the main idea, but I thought, we haven't really seen Pinkie Pie's family except for that one little clip of, when she has the party and she's getting her cutie mark and all of that. So I always thought that they seemed really interesting, so I said to my editor, I think a big part of learning about Pinkie Pie, or what I would want to know about her if I was watching the show and waiting for an episode, is what are they like and what would it be like if they came to visit? So I thought about the Crystal Empire coming back, and at that time I thought, what are some of the ramifications or what could happen when a big event like that large has happened? Are there any negative results from that? So I thought of this idea to make Pinkie Pie's rock farm family, start having some trouble with their rock farm because everybody wanted crystals from the Crystal Empire instead of rocks. So I thought it could be a pretty interesting way to introduce them is if they come to town to ask for help, but not from Pinkie Pie, but from her friend Twilight Sparkle, because she's royalty and she can do something about it. So I guess my idea there was sort of wanting to explore the family and then trying to think of a way to fit it into the larger picture of what's going on. I think I'm rambling on this slide, so I'm going to continue. I think I just already started talking about all this. Yeah, I did. So I think, what do I want to know about the character that hasn't been explored yet, and what can I add to it? What's happened to get to this point? In that case, it was we had seen her family but didn't know anything about them. and what is relevant and interesting. So I thought that I was reading about a lot of housing foreclosures in America. I don't know what it's like here, but there's a big problem with a lot of small businesses and people losing their homes, and the economy's bad. So the economy being bad is basically the topic I was going for there. This is a nice picture of my cat in front of my outlining board. So what I usually do is I do storyboard outlining on literally a big board. I like to divide it up into chapter numbers, and then I take all my ideas that I have, whether they're little tiny details, like I want Rainbow Dash to say a certain joke that I thought of that I don't know where it'll fit. I write everything down on Post-it notes, and then I try to put it where I think it should go in the story, because it helps to see it, basically. And this is what they do in screenwriting too. So if I go with a 3-act structure, I want to make sure that it hits all the right notes, And I think this is a really great way to do it. I don't know if any of you guys out there who are writers have a similar way of doing things, but I know this really works for me. So here we go. Is this a really funny translation? Okay. I wish I could ask. I heard everybody whispering. Oh gosh. It's good. All right. So I always write my first drafts in a My Little Pony notebook. That's because I have a big stack of them. My mom bought them for me. They're great, right? Okay, so and everyone has different ways of doing things, but I like to write my first draft by hand if I can, because it helps ideas come, and you don't have to be censored or intimidated by a blank screen. For some reason, that always freaks me out. So, it's like a little bit of stage fright, but with writing. So if you write in a notebook or just pen and paper, you don't have to worry about what it is you write, because you know that you're going to type it up into the computer. So anything you don't like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, because you're already going to have one round of revisions, so it's less scary. So I highly recommend trying that if you're ever stuck on anything. I think this is when I realized that I had read my first draft, yes. Okay, so when I usually read a first draft, it's pretty bad. Any writer will tell you that kind of the first way things come out is pretty, not usually good. So I take a look, and I end up deleting lots of stuff, and Rainbow Dash tells me it needs to be cooler, because she lives at my house. And this is what it looks like when I start to do revisions. So, I don't know. Sorry, got a little stuck there. Okay, so in Microsoft Word, which is what I use for the book writing, I use a different program for screenwriting called Final Draft. And for the book writing, you can put it in revision mode, so that anything you delete or add gets underlined and colored, and you can add notes to it. So this is what they use in professional publishing with an editor, so that you can disagree with something that they say, or you can make a note about why something was cut out or explain something. And I think it's a very useful tool, even if you're just self-editing, because then you can see what's been deleted, see where you've made changes, and it just looks like this. So thought that was good to add. So when revising, I never delete anything. I always open a separate document and I copy paste it all in there, so that later, when I, need a funny joke or need to add a little filler into a scene, I can look back at my folder and say, okay, I have this really cute thing where Sweetie Belle is talking about, something with rarity, and it didn't really fit right there, but like now I can use it again, and I don't have to, you don't want to waste anything. So I always do that, and I highly recommend that as well. And then, of course, read it out loud to yourself. The Pony books specifically are officially meant for younger readers. So a lot of the fans are kids and parents who like to read them as bedtime stories together. And I try to read it with the mind that I'm a parent reading to my child, if I had a child, and what it would sound like. Certain words or the way sentences are strung together can be really difficult to actually read aloud, and they can look really cool, but a lot of the mistakes or problems with whatever you're writing becomes very clear when you read it out loud. Oh, that's me doing my mind voodoo on all the books. Oh, so then I'm finished, and that's what I do, and that's kind of what I look like, and I write to my editor, and I send it in. And then she says, good job, let's publish it. No. Usually after a few more rounds of revisions. And then in all of the main 6 books, not in these ones, but in the main 6 books, I have to write all the activities in the back, which is pretty fun too. And I always wonder if anyone does them. Has anyone, you did them? Yeah, we got one person. Woo! Yeah, that guy deserves some applause. But they're really fun. Then 9 to 12 months later, oh, it's a book. Oh, so cute. Look how Pinky looks. She's so excited. No. Obviously, I stole that from the episode about the babies. So, some stuff that you should remember if you want to be an author. Reviews can sometimes be really bad, and they can sometimes be really good. And it's nice to read the good ones, and really awful when you read bad ones. So I like to try and remind myself, if I can, that, opinions are opinions, and that's fine. But you shouldn't let any of it affect you too much, because you did your best, you put it out there, and the hardest part is writing it and putting yourself out there, so. And I just love that. Oh, no. Is that how it goes? Reading goes along with writing, obviously. I always find that when I'm not keeping up with my reading of, new books that are out there, old books that I used to love when I was a kid, my writing becomes worse. So I think reading is #1 importance to becoming a great writer. And then leaning on your friends and family, of course. Yay! That's a picture of me and my friends. So. There's only 4 of us, but, Yay! Oh, the end. So, I think we can take some questions now, if you guys want to.
Yeah, just form a line, the right side, the left side from you there, on the floor. And I didn't know that you actually made a whole bathing tub of ice.
Yeah.
Of ice cream.
Yeah, a whole bathtub full of ice cream.
Okay, that was in the translation, so.
That's really funny.
Okay.
Wow.
I see the
Where
light.
did that come from? A bathtub?
A bathtub, because Google Translate just translated it to a bathtub.
So was that, it said that I get a bathtub full of ice cream?
Yeah. But I just think you took a bath in it, because it was so good written.
Yeah, I do take baths in ice cream. It's part of my secret writer tips.
Okay, I think the first tennis are ready, and just switch over to my professional, Harry Dotter.
Oh, I'm a professional, thank you. Oh,
Yeah.
I love hearing that. Yes, I'm here to help with the questions. Since I've done that so many times by now, it kind of feels like second nature, taking questions. That's the thing I can do. So, without further ado, I'm sure you screened the first question. So, please, if you would, ask your question to G.M. Berrow.
Testing, 1, 2, 3. Okay.
Nice. I see what you did there.
So, my question is about the either word canosity. Do you know about this? The urban definition? Canon?
Oh, canon? Yeah.
Yeah, so I'd like to know, how canon are your books? Like, could Hasbro always waltz in and say, no, totally wrong, our show will do it other way?
Well, it's kind of funny because I think the fans have a different idea about like the word canon than everyone does who works on it. No one's usually sitting around and debating what is canon and what is not canon. It's kind of understood that, you know, number one is the show, and then the books and comics and things like that, they add to the universe, but if they contradict it, it's just, I think it's understood that it's meant to be sort of a separate storyline. So with my books, there's some stuff in there that was given to me directly by Hasbro or by Megan. A few little things, not a lot, but some things like in the first book, the Twilight Sparkle book, there's a story about Cadence and how she became an alicorn. And that was something that Megan and I worked on together. So that is canon, I guess. And, you know, in the Pinkie Pie book, I mentioned Maud before you guys ever saw her. So there's a lot of things in my books that are directly canon to the show. You might not know it, but they are, because either they haven't shown up yet, or maybe I took it from a script somewhere, and maybe it got cut out of the script. So it's hard for me to dissect like which things specifically, but they're meant to be supported to the show. So yeah, I mean, take it as you will. They're just meant to be stories that are part of the universe and to be enjoyed with some facts that support it. So I don't know if that answers your question.
It does.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I was wondering what would you say is the main difference between writing an episode for the show and writing the books?
That's a good question. Well, I'd say the main difference is how collaborative the show is. A lot of people think, or the impression I get from a lot of fans is when a writer writes an episode, they say, oh, I hate this writer, I like this writer, based on the episode idea, or a character in that episode. But an important thing to remember is that those episodes were kind of written by a group in a way. It's like you get assigned something that may or may not be your idea, and then you all work together to come up with funny stuff for it or what should happen, and then that writer basically interprets that idea. So it's more of a group setting in the show. And then with the books, it's more me and my editor and Hasbro, and sometimes some, little factoids from the writers. And it's mainly more me by myself working it out. So I think they're both great and both very different.
Thank you.
Thank you.
microphone, please.
Hello.
Hi.
When you were writing your Daring Do collection, did it...
It's okay. It's all right.
Yeah, sorry. Did it affect how you rate your Daring Do collection when it was shown that A.K. Yearling was actually Daring Do in season 4?
It did affect that, actually. I'm trying to remember. I don't know if I had started writing it when I found out about that. I don't think so. When I found out about it, I did. It definitely. Excuse me. I'm speaking German now. No. It added a layer of complexity to how I had to write it because I wanted it to feel like it was something that could feasibly happen in that universe, but I also embellished a lot more because I don't think that the character of A.K. Yearling actually did everything that Daring Do does. I think she was using authors, sort of artistic license for that. So even though she technically is real and is Daring Do, there's lots of other, creatures or places or characters you might question because that's what people do in real life. I'm an author and I take things from my life that, I've experienced, but I still add in a lot of other fancy stuff. So it did affect it, but not too bad. So.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi. Just one simple question. How many or how much freedom do you get while you're writing the book? So do you get a basic outline of the story or yeah?
Well, I have a lot of freedom actually. I have to get my outlines approved by my editor and the publisher and by Hasbro. So if there's something that they don't like or they don't want to explore for some specific reason, they'll tell me and then they'll have me change it, or maybe they'll have another idea about how they want the story to go. But for the most part, it's stories I've come up with, and it seems to go pretty smoothly now since I've been doing it for a long time. I kind of can tell what they're going to like and what they're not going to like, and also I try to keep up with knowing what's going on in the show and ahead of time, obviously, and also I try to read the comic books as much as I can. It's hard to keep everything in line, but I do my best. So yeah, they give me a lot of freedom though to do fun stuff.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I wanted to ask actually kind of two questions. So which is your favorite character from the show, and what also ties into this question? If you could write a book about any character that you haven't written about yet, which would it be?
Okay, so my favorite character from the show is Pinkie Pie. But I love all the characters. I know everyone says that, but I really do love all the characters because I've written books about all the main characters, so I feel very attached to each of them, even Applejack.
Yes. Good.
But I feel very connected to Pinkie Pie just because she's so silly and she just jabbers on, and I kind of do that. I ramble too, and she just makes me laugh, makes me smile. That's her whole thing, anyway, making people smile. Well, actually, ponies. Forbid.
If there was any character you could write for and you could choose, which one would it be?
I just got this question the other day, and I didn't really have a good answer for it. Spike? No, I don't think I'd choose Spike. I think I like Spike, but I don't think that is the one character I would choose. Maybe a character like Derpy? Or like Aristotle, like his view of things.
Yeah, that's cool. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I want to ask if you get the fan mail, or if there is fan mail that you receive, and if so, how you respond to it, or do you respond to it in any way?
I do get fan mail, and it's mainly from children, and it's really cute. And it's, in little funny handwriting, and they send me drawings and stuff, which are really good, actually. And I do actually respond to every single one. And I handwrite the letters back to them because I just think it's really fun. Usually, if I can, I'll send them a book or something, depending on the postage and where they live. But yeah, sometimes though I feel really bad because I'll get it like months and months after they sent it, and I just sit there picturing a little kid like looking sad at the mailbox or something. Makes me feel really guilty. But yes, I write back to all of them.
Thank you. Next one, please.
Hello. My question is, what was your initial reaction when you found out that the major audience for panel P is this?
I was confused, but intrigued, and I was telling her backstage that when I found out about it, I thought, wow, this is really interesting, and this means a lot to a lot of people, so I gotta be careful with it and do a really, really good job. Not that I wasn't gonna try that anyways, but I went to BronyCon in 2012, but no one knew who I was, and I was walking around secretly and just talking to people and asking them why they liked the show and what was special about it to them. So I thought it was really cool, and I still do.
Woo!
Thank you.
What are you doing to get inspiration? Or what is your source of inspiration?
What was the question?
What's your source of inspiration? How do you get inspired to write?
I get inspired, by things that happen to me, and also by other books and movies. The Fluttershy book that came out recently was inspired by the movie Babe. It's sort of a pony version of Babe, but Angel Bunny wants to be in the sheep herding competition. And he gets some tiny crystal ewes, and it happens. So, yeah, anything really, books, movies, stuff that happens to me. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So you do a lot of handwriting, if I got you right. And I wondered, what do you use for handwriting? A pen or a pencil? Since I'm using this pencil, Kugelschreiber in German. If I use the Kugelschreiber,
Do I use a pen or a pencil when I'm handwriting?
Yes.
I always use a pen because, like I said, when I'm typing on the computer, I never want to get rid of anything that I've written. Not because it's all fantastic, but it could be. So I always write with a pen, and if I want to cross something out, I just, put one line through it, or, yeah. And I usually use a felt tip pen because I just like them. What about you? Do you write with a pen or a pencil?
Usually I use the pencil, the Kugelschreiber or pencil, richtig? I usually use this one, but I do not much handwriting. And my handwriting is horrible. It's simply horrible. If I gave you a prize of this, I bet you couldn't read it.
His handwriting is not so good, he says. Kind of hard to read. How's yours?
My handwriting is really, I think it's good.
Comes with practice, right?
What's that?
Comes with practice.
Yes, it comes with practice.
Yes, exactly. Gotta practice.
So do more handwriting. Your penmanship will get better.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
So, I'm a fan of the Wonderballs, and I just wanted to ask if you could imagine a book about the Wonderballs.
Yeah, that would be cool. Maybe I'll do it.
Nice.
Thank you. No.
Hi. First of all, yay for daring do.
Woo! Daring do! Daring do. You guys should be asking
And you're probably up against a lot of deadlines while you write. But do you think it's really possible to write well when you're not feeling inspired?
Yeah, I think it is possible. And you mentioned deadlines, right? Deadlines, every author hates, but they're actually great. In my opinion, it's kind of the only way to finish something. Maybe that's bad, but I think it forces you to be inspired. A lot of people talk about sitting and waiting for inspiration to come, but that's not, in my experience, really how it works. The inspiration comes when you start to work and when you force yourself to get through it. Because it's really hard, sometimes you have no ideas at all, but you start writing gibberish and then finally something will come to you, because that's better than writing gibberish. So I do think, yes, deadlines, and even when you aren't inspired, you should work.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Actually, I have a second question. You said you're maybe writing a book about Derpy, but Derpy doesn't really have a canon personality, so where would you draw inspiration for that?
Yeah, she's got some things about her that show up in the show. I mean, I can't. I can't really answer that anymore. But no, I could work with it. I don't know. I haven't tried yet, so you never know until you try.
All right.
Thank you.
How do you deal with particularly negative criticism?
Negative criticism.
I mean, really particularly negative criticism.
That was your Royal Penton voice, wasn't it?
So, I can put it that way, yeah.
Very nice.
I can yell into a microphone.
Me too. No. Negative criticism. It's, I was kind of talking about it earlier. It can be hurtful, but the best thing to do is really to not look at it, if you can help yourself. I think just remember that there's good reviews too. There's, for every bad thing someone says, I've had, someone come up to me and tell me that they enjoyed what I did. So that's just opinions. You can never please everyone, and just have to remember that. Thank you.
You said that you saw the current season 4, generation 4 of MLP and the first generation. But what about the second, third, and the universally feared 3.5 generation?
No, I didn't really watch those in between ones because I was a little kid and it was popular for little kids back in the day. So I had a couple of the movies and I watched those a lot, and I had the toys. But then I wasn't really interested in it for a while, so I didn't watch those.
Good advice. Don't. Just don't.
I mean, I've seen clips of it. It's not...
You should watch Minty Christmas. Tabitha is in it.
Yeah.
The voice of Verity is in Generation 3. You don't want to see her voice a clumsy pony? I want to see that.
Is that, you said Minty Christmas?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's great. Minty screws over Christmas and Tabitha St. Germain voices Minty. It's
Yeah.
hilarious. I would actually watch that one. I'm not telling you what happens later.
It's back before they had.
She sings a song. Yes, next question. Sorry, I just had to goof a bit.
No problem. Considering the fact that you know now what the fandom consists of, is there the possibility that in the future there will be books for MLP, maybe not under the title specifically MLP, but for MLP, from the MLP universe that go more towards a more mature audience?
Do you think you're asking if there will be books for mature audience?
Yes.
Yeah, not necessarily like what probably most of the people are thinking about now, but that's
No, I know what you're saying. You know, I really don't know. I think I never really know what they're gonna want me to do. I just kind of go along for the ride and see what it is that people like and what the publisher wants. I was surprised that they wanted to do the Daring Do set, which was a little different than the other stuff. And, you know, it's got this nice collector's box, and I think they thought that would appeal to maybe some of the older fans, even though it's still written as for children. But, you know, you have to remember, the show is made for a younger audience, and you guys all like that. So it doesn't diminish the product, I don't think. But I don't know. That's the honest truth.
Would you say that since you wrote one of the novelizations for the Equestria Girls movie, would you say that's more geared towards a more preteen audience, or do you think it's the same audience?
Yeah, I think it definitely, they were trying to hit sort of that preteen, group, because it's kind of similar to the Monster High thing, so maybe, yeah.
So there is like a kind of a change in audience, but it's more like logical continuation rather than a shift.
Which is funny because they, in Equestria Girls, the characters are younger than they are in Equestria.
But since you're human, it's all a bit different, I suppose.
Yeah.
But yes, thank you.
I think you kind of answered my question just right now, because I was going to ask who came up with the idea for the storage chest for the Daring Do books, because it's really nice.
That was the publisher. They wanted to make it look really special. I think they did a good job. It's really cool. This is actually going to be in the charity auction. I brought this with me, so I'm going to sign it. And it's the only one I have with me, so only shot at that.
Neat. That means I'm gonna see that again. Yay. And I'm gonna get to auction it off later.
Oh yeah, and they're actually going to, I just found out they're going to release these books separately, but they won't have, these are the special editions, so they have art in the front.
Ooh.
But in the single editions, they won't have that. So, it's really cool.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I think if that's it for questions, then thank you for all these fantastic questions. I enjoyed them. I hope you enjoyed them.
Yeah. I mean, that's it? Nobody has any more questions? All right.
Last chance.
Okay.
Sweet. You're the last one then. You get the special last question. Make it good.
The last word.
Make it count.
What do you think of Twilight Corn?
The fact that Twilight Sparkle became a princess.
Oh, what do I think of the fact that she's an alicorn? Is that what it says?
Yes. I think that is.
Oh. Well, I don't think it's a secret. Actually, I think Mitch has said it on a couple of panels. Mitch Larson, the writer of that episode, is that was actually intended to be the end of the show. So I think that's actually very interesting. They wanted to, you know, go out with a bang, but then I think the popularity of the show had started to build by then. But you know, the way it's written so far in advance from when it airs. So it was kind of like they wrote it like a year and a half before that, before it was so popular, and then they were like, oh no, wait, okay, so now she's a princess in the rest of the series. But I think it's kind of cool because one of the cool things about the show is that the characters do grow and, you know, they learn lessons and they change, and that's like the biggest change of all, is like becoming another form. So I think it's interesting to see how the friendship has become even more solid between all the main characters with her new responsibility and the new things that they can do with it, because she's more important to the world. Well, not more important, but she's more well-known and has more responsibilities. So I think that's kind of a cool way to change the stories a little bit. So I like it. I think it's neat.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, guys, you heard it. Last question for Jillian. And before we close this panel, I think, do you have a pen? You have a pen there? I have a pen.
Wait, I have a pen! I'm a writer, I have a pen.
Yeah, of course. So I think you should at least sign the box so everyone can see that it's your handwriting. It's an authentic autograph on the box.
Oh yeah, I'll take yours actually, it's better.
Take this one.
Alright.
Yeah, for the box it's better, but for the books, the small one works better, I guess. So yeah. The problem is you can't actually see this handwriting right now, but I can tell you she is writing it.
Remember, it's going to be in the charity auction tomorrow. Very important.
Okay, you mean, so it's written out to eBay? Little eBay?
Yeah.
Okay, we have eyewitness, we have cameras over there and over there. So, yeah.
Let's go.
The seal of authenticity. Authenticity. Oh, big word.
Yes. Alright, well, thank
And now?
you. Thank you for coming to my panel. Go look around the city some more next week. If you guys have any tips for me, please find me and let me know.
She's looking for a night spot because she's staying here for the rest of the week.
Yeah.
So if you have any good, really, really good nightclub ideas, just talk to her.
Or any cool phrases you want to teach me in German. I'm trying to learn some stuff. So maybe not about a bathtub full of ice cream.
Just ask as a race best about speed limit.
Yeah.
It's really fun.
Speed limit. Speed limit.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you guys so much.